Good evening. Hello. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Good evening. It's 7 o'clock. It's Thursday, August the 25th, 2022. And it's 7 o'clock, so it's time for the Conscious Creators Toolbox. So welcome to the Conscious Creators Toolbox. I'm Jean Aaron, and I am hosting the session tonight. Yes. And we're still talking about energy, our personal energy, our personal power. We got to be talking about being the master of our personal energy and our personal powers, probably for the next quite a few weeks, maybe on into September, probably till the end of September. I think we've got at least 4 more sessions, and maybe 5. So we'll see. But anyway, welcome to the Conscious Creators Toolbox. You know, we're here every Thursday night at 7 o'clock for about 45 minutes to an hour to talk about who you are, your conscious creators, your conscious, unlimited, conscious, non-restricted creators who are out there manifesting and creating their own realities, their own lives, and making their own dreams come true. I hope that's what you're doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're aware, you're awakened, and you are all the way live and handling your business, taking care of your business. It's conscious creators. You're created out of the same stuff that creator is created. Your source, your God, your Father, your divine, the great I am is created from the same stuff. It's just called energy. Everything is energy, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but we are created out of the same stuff that our maker, our creator, our Father, universe, God is created from. And we're made in God's image. We're made in the image of our source. And we have available to us all of the resources and all of the powers and all of just everything that creator and source God has available at hand. Source gives it, makes it available to us as his children, as it's inherited, as our right, as our birthright, and that's what we do. We get to do and be what our creator and our maker and our Father can do. God created us out of the same stuff and out of the same image, the image of God Himself, and with the same powers and the same abilities that God has. We have available to us. God withholds nothing from us, nothing at all. That's why we can say that we are unlimited and unrestricted beings, because God has given us access to every power and everything that God has available. God has made it available to us as His inherited ones. All right. So whatever I want to remind you of this, because sometimes we walk around with these limiting beliefs about ourselves and our God and our source and our Father. And I tell you this, I promise you this, without a doubt in my mind, I know this without no doubt at all, it is that everything that God can do, He made available, and God has made available. God has made available, source has made available to me, to me. I can do what my Father can do. I can do what my Creator can do. And so can you. So you're only limited by what restrictions you put on your Father, what restrictions you put on God. My Father, and I hope it's just for your Father too. You're my God. I hope it's your God too. Your source, my source, our source is powerful beyond power. God is power. And so God has we have the same access. We have to have the same available to us. God is the great I am, and we are I ams as well. He's the I amness, God is the I amness, and we have that same I amness available to us. So don't restrict yourself. Don't limit yourself. Don't shortchange yourself. And don't believe the false hype about who you are not, because you're just super beings. You are super beings, and you may not even realize how powerful you are. Sometimes one of our fears is that we may understand how powerful we are, and then that's kind of scary, because we wonder, well, I don't want to mess things. I don't want to do. We just get nervous about having access to that. So sometimes we're afraid of being successful or being powerful or being who we are. Take off the mask. Take off the mask. Stop listening to the false hype, and know who you are. You are unlimited, non-restricted, created beings, created by your maker out of the same stuff. Creation, energy, just energy. And you can do, and you have available and have access to all that your source has. So I love to do that. I love to come in on Thursday night and remind you of that and encourage you to just try it out. You know, Neville says, don't believe me. Try it out. Go out there, create something that you don't think, manifest something. Bring something into your reality that you just, just convince yourself of who you are and go do it. Go do it, okay? So, I got that done. So one of the things that we do on Thursday night is we look at our powers and some of our abilities and some of those those tools. I call them tools. I call them our creativity, our creative tools. We take them out of the shed, we take them out of the toolbox, and we look at them. And some of those things are just, this every day, you hear it all day long. It's your belief system. It is your words, the words that you speak. Those are your tools that you use to create and manifest what you want and what you have in your life. Your thoughts, the ideas that you create, that you come up with, conjure up with, decide or think about in your mind, they create. Thoughts become words, and words become things. So your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and that's what we're talking about. This tonight we're going to be talking about our feelings, our emotions, our beliefs, even our lack of our doubt and our fears. They kind of upset the barrel a little bit. So we have to figure out what's the opposite of those things that keep us from being and having access and availability of all the powers. We have to take a look at the opposite of fear, of doubt and fear. It's love, and love is another one. Our kindness, our ability to, just have relationships with one another. Reasoning, our logic. I could go on. It's a ton of them. But basically, we're talking about energy, and absolutely everything is energy. So all of our power tools, creative tools, those creativity objects that we have in the shed or wherever they might be, they're our personal power. That access to those energies and that power is our creativity. That's what we use. Those are things that we use to manifest and create the life that we have, and the lives that we would like to have. Sometimes we end up in a situation or in having an experience that we're not too happy about, and then we want to figure out, well, who did that to me? Well, you know what? You did it to yourself. Everything that happens in your life, everything that happens in your life, in your reality, everything that you experience, everything that you have, all of those things you brought into you. You brought them to you. You magnetized them to you. You manifested them to you, whether you meant to or not, because you are a creator, just like your father, just like your source is a creator. You cannot not create. You do that by default. But what we like to have you do after becoming awakened, aware, and conscious of who and what you are and what you have available to you, we want you to be purposeful, deliberate, intentional creators, knowing what you want, knowing what you intend to manifest, and manifesting that, and trying to avoid those things that oops, did I do that kind of Urkel kind of things that we just bring into our lives by happenstance or just by default. All right, so we want to be prolific, productive, purposeful manifestors and creators of our destinies. And that's what we try to help, or that's our purpose here at Conscious Creators Toolbox on Thursday night, is to give you help you sharpen those tools up, identify, take a look at them, identify them, know what they are, and know how to use them. Somebody said, well, we make this a habit. This is one of our habits. One of our habits is to come in on Thursday nights and deliberately, intentionally wake up and bring awareness to conscious creators out there like yourself, so that you can be that purposeful, intentional manifester of your destiny to get what you want. Make your dreams come true. You're the one that does it. You do it. You're the one that do that. You make your own dreams come true. There's no crystal ball that you have to rub, and you can do it if you want to, but you do it. You use your words, you use your thoughts, you use your ideas, you use your habits, you use your creativity to manifest and create. But let me just add this little tidbit in there. You can't create alone. Nothing, absolutely nothing that you see was done by one person, all right? You may have instigated it, you may have intended it, you may have started it, but it takes more than one. It takes at least two people to manifest and create anything, okay? It takes two people to create a body, a baby. Anything. It takes two. It takes two people, two creators, to partner and to come together and co-create and manifest. We create with God, we create with Father, always. But we partner with one another to create and manifest too. So it's more like an awareness session. I call it an awareness session on Thursday night. Then I get the opportunity to come in and share a little bit of that information with you, and bring some more awareness to you. So the more aware you are, the better you are at being who you are. Because sometimes we don't really understand all that we are, and sometimes we begin to really think about what we are, and we go, wow, we get a little nervous, but that's okay. Confidence is one of your tools too. Being confident and knowing who you are. That's one of your tools as well. But we're talking about energy for the next few weeks, and we talked about. It's going to be kind of managing our personal energy is the focus. But we want to make sure that you understand that personal energy and that personal power and that personal creativity. It's all one. You might hear me interchange the terms energy, power, creativity, but they're all the same. It's all energy. I think it's Einstein who said everything is energy. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing else to it. Everything is energy. Everything is energy in one form or another. The chair that I'm sitting on, it's a solid energy. It's in a form of energy. And before it was a chair, it was somebody's thought. It was somebody's idea. So ideas are energy. So our words are energy. The words so everything is energy. And I don't know about you, but I'm not one to argue with Einstein. So, if Einstein says that he's almost God's right-hand man, in my opinion, because he knows what he's talking about, okay? But anyway, we're going to be talking about our personal power and our personal energy for probably through September. And I hooked the fish, so to speak. Dr. Amber Jade is coming to talk with us in September. I think one of the last 2 weeks, she's got to come in and talk to us about her perspective, and he's going to give some of her exchange and understanding about energy and how from a doctor's perspective. Okay, from a doctor's perspective, she's going to do that. All right. So watch out for her. Thank you. I hope she's somewhere out there listening to us. I think I see her listening to us. But she's over in Hawaii, and she's gonna Facebook us, or Facebook Live us. She's gonna come in and talk to us on live Facebook. One of the last weeks in September. So watch out for that. Okay. All right. I think that's the only announcement I got. I want to apologize for last week. I didn't make it last week. I'll tell you what happened. I mean, I was worked right up until probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got this download that you're not ready for the session. I said, what? I got my notes, No, you're not ready for the session. And I kind of got a little nervous because I said, well, what do I do? And they said, well, you're not ready for it. Just don't do it. And I said, oh, well, okay. All right. So I just kind of bumbled around trying to figure out, well, why? What, I read my notes, I looked at everything, it looked okay to me. But you know what happened since last week? I, I, I had an opportunity to actually experience some of the information, some of the theory, or some of the research that I had done, and some of the things that I had learned and come to a better understanding from just researching and looking, talking to other folk and reading and researching. I had an opportunity to experience, and I tell you what, experience is the best teacher. Experience, once you experience it, have an experience. No one can take that experience away from you. But you can forget it or put it aside or disregard or whatever. But it's a part of you. You've experienced it, and experience is the best teacher. So I have to say that I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of take a step back and not only believe what I study and what I teach and what I share with you, but to actually experience it for myself, so I know. I'm an Aquarian, so we know that we know we know. That's our one of our mantras. But to experience it, it's a different kind of knowing. It's an experiential knowing, because I've been there, done that. I got the T-shirt and the bruises and the bangs, whatever, to prove it. So experience is the best teacher. So I have to thank my guides and thank my angels who kind of put me on hold last week. So I'll say blame it on them that I didn't show up last week. But I'm here tonight, and I'm gonna give you what I was gonna give you last week, but I'm gonna give it with a little bit more oomph to it, because I know what I'm talking about, because I did it. It happened to me. All right? Okay. So we are, like I said, we're talking about our personal energy, and tonight we're going to take a closer look at our emotional energy. We talked about the 4 dimensions of our energy. Remember, we kind of talked about the 4 dimensions: our physical energy or physical energy, our mental energy, our emotional energy, and our spiritual energy. Those were the 4 dimensions of our energy. And I hope I gave you enough understanding or enough information to realize that all of these are, while they are individual energies, if you would, or individual kinds and types of energy, and to be demonstrated and acted out and performed differently and from different centers, in order to manifest, or in order to be a rounded and a grounded, a well-rounded and a grounded person, they work collectively. They work together. You can't have one without the other to have a good, fulfilled life. So remember, we talked about our personal energy. We have, again, our physical energy, power, our physical power, our mental energy, our mental power, and our emotional power, and our spiritual power. Those were the 4 dimensions, and everything about ourselves and our lives fit into that. Everything that we do, everything that we are, every experience, every idea, it's got to fall in that in one of those dimensions at some point, at some place. And that's basically, again, that's our creative power. That's our creativity. That's that is our that creativity is seated in one of these types of energy. And in order to be a prolific and a productive and an intentional, purposeful creator and a manifester, you will have to collaboratively use or call on all of these energies, because they all play a part in a good manifestation, a good manifestation. Okay, so let's how do I do this? We definitely want to be looking at emotional. And if you recall, we kind of talked about emotional a couple of weeks ago, and I think I'm going to kind of refresh your memory on some of the information that we discussed at that last session. Our emotional energy is the energy that's derived from our emotional state and our connectedness with ourselves as well as with others. And it and that connectedness with others actually kind of determines or affects the quality of our emotional exchanges and our own emotional outputs. This energy, our personal emotional energy, is seen and felt by others. Our emotions and it's felt by others, just as their others, our connections, our relationships, and our networks, our family, friends, and folk that we associate with. Their emotions affect us, and you can feel, sometimes you can sense, the feelings or the moods or the attitudes, and it's all of these or emotional terminology or emotional words and statements. When we talk about moods, talk about our feelings, that's energy. That's energy exchange. We're expressing it. We are demonstrating it to one another in our actions, and as we relate and connect with one another. Our personal energy is again, it is seen and felt. You can see the evidence of our emotions. It's seen and felt by others as well as ourselves, and we don't intend for it. It's sometimes we don't really want people to know how we're feeling or the energy that we're putting out, but sometimes we can't help it because it just happens. You can tell when your kids come home from school and something's happened at school that that they're not really ready to let you know about. You can tell by the way they act and how they talk, and you can just sense that energy. Something is just a little bit off. So mom and dad start questioning, and then they find out, little Johnny got in trouble in the lunchroom today. I don't know, he was probably throwing some spaghetti at one of the buddies or whatever, and he got in trouble. So he was a little sad and worried. He was kind of nervous and worried that he was going to get in trouble. After getting in trouble at school, he's going to get in trouble with mom and dad, which he probably did. But anyway, that's we know that we sense those things, and we get an opportunity to experience each other's emotions. We exchange them. It is our emotions and our feelings that is the glue and the stuff, the energy that brings our manifestations together, right? I tell my clients that you can believe all day, you can visualize all day long, but if you don't get a feeling, if you can't feel it, if you don't get a movement in your body in some way or another, excited about it, if you don't, it's just not, it's not gonna happen. So you keep visualizing, and you keep making those pictures in your mind and in your head, so that you can trigger some feelings, so you can start generating the feelings. Because the feelings is the glue. The feelings is the glue, the energy that brings all of our manifestations together. Without the proper management of that emotional energy, that glue, that magnet, so to speak, we get all kind of bumbled up and messed up, bad. Oops, I didn't mean to do that kind of manifestations. So sometimes when we're manifesting and it just doesn't turn out like you told yourself, or you believed it should, or we expected it. Maybe you have to go back and really, was that something that you really wanted? And how desperate were you about it? How excited were you about it? Because whatever those feelings were, it affected that manifestation when it finally came into your experience and came into you, right? So Neville Goddard, and everybody knows that Neville Goddard is actually my manifestation guru, and Neville says that feelings is the secret. He's got a book. There's a book, and I want to recommend that book. The book is called Feelings is the Secret, and what he's saying is feelings is the secret of manifestation, and again, I highly recommend that book because it's loaded with information about how feelings attract your manifestation, and kind of goes, get a little scientific. He gets a little scientific there, talking about energy, kind of quoting some. I think he quotes a little, Einstein and all those guys like that. But anyway, I want to read something that he said read this passage that he said in his book, and it came from his book. Sensations. Sensations precede manifestation, and it is the foundation upon which all manifestations rest. Be careful of your moods, like I said before. Be careful of your moods and feelings, for there is an unbroken connection between your feelings and your vision and your visible world. Your body is an emotional filter and bears the unmistakable mark of your prevalent emotions. Emotional disturbances, especially suppressed emotions, are the causes of all diseases. To feel intensely about a wrong without voicing or expressing the feeling is the beginning of disease. Disease in both the body and in the environment. All right? Do not entertain the feeling of regret, he says, or failure, or frustration, or detachment from your objective results. For your objective results will be disease. All right. So I don't know about you, but as far as I can remember, I was taught, and it was I was taught kind of a different kind of understanding, or a different kind of approach, or a different kind of management of my emotions. I was told to be a big girl. Stop crying. Dry those tears. Stop crying. Stop being so emotional. You're just so feely. You're just so sensitive. You're too, they didn't mean it in a sense when they were expressing it to me. They didn't mean it as if they thought they were being helpful. They thought they were helping me, be able to face the world and tackle life and stand up and stop being a crybaby and stop being, sensitive and all that. But the thing was, they didn't tell me really what to do with it. They just said, stop it. How do you stop it? It's really, if you are a very emotional person and a very sensitive person, for someone to tell you that, it's like they're speaking as foreign, asking you to do something impossible, because you can't stop feeling. You can't stop being sensitive. You might can suck it up and maybe suck up a few tears, but you cannot stop the pain that's behind those tears. Okay? You can't. You just can't, because that's who we are. We are beings, or we are beings with feelings, and feelings have a purpose and a reason to be. And maybe back in those days when I was growing up, maybe they didn't understand it. That's what they were taught by their parents and their parents' parents. So maybe that's what they were, preparing me and my brother and sisters for the world to be out there and be, tough girls and, macho men, So they thought they were doing the right thing. But as I am becoming more aware and more conscious and more awakened, I realized that God gave these feelings for a reason. And, sometimes they're messy. Sometimes they get in the way of life and relationships and situations and experiences. But they have a reason, and they have a purpose. And it would benefit us to understand what that purpose was or is. Why do we feel? Why do we have these sensations in our bodies? What are they for? What do they mean? What are we supposed to do with them? Do we really supposed to suck it up, toughen up? Is that being strong and just poshing over them, ignoring them? No, it's not. It's not making us. It's making us have diseases and sicknesses and craziness, because energy moves. Energy moves. That sensation that you feel when you're feeling disappointed, when you're feeling resentment or rejected or worried or happy or whatever it is you're feeling, it's energy that's moving about in your body somewhere. And if you and I tell, this is something that I just almost like a religion with me, with my clients. I tell them, know what you're feeling and where the feeling is. Identify it, and stop part of your mindfulness. Let that be part of your mindfulness process, or or routine or rituals is to examine and observe your feelings and see where they are, and match them with your thoughts. You stop. I say stop every a few times a day, and just, what are you thinking about, and where are you having feelings, and what does that feeling feel like? Okay, there are several. There's a I'm going to do some sessions on maybe showing you how to identify those feelings and those sensations, and maybe helping you understand, maybe try to understand, um, teach yourself how to identify what they mean, because basically they're messages. Our feelings, those sensations that you feel, that movement in and throughout your body, the sensations, emotions, their feelings, they're messages. And they're identifying something, they're telling you something about your environment, your body, your system, something's going on in and about you. And it's trying to give you some information so that you can be a better manager of your energy and of your creativity. Hi. Hi, Katura. How are we doing? So tonight, I want to talk about what I'm going to really get into. I want to talk about myths or things that we were taught growing up or as children. Um, Misunderstandings, I'm going to call them, basically misunderstandings, misconditioning about our emotions. There's 5 that I'm going to give you, and I want to really talk about, hone in on 3 of them, because these 3 are, to me, the most common, and they're the most common, and then they're the most, you need to understand them better. You need to understand them, because once you get a handle on those, all the others, you start understanding, and you start, kind of pulling them and filtering them out. Okay. So the 5 myths that we're going to talk about, that I want to share with you, that are totally misunderstandings, totally untrue, totally has nothing, totally way out of the ballpark when it comes to emotions. Okay. The first one, emotions make you illogical, irrational. You're emotional, you're irrational. Emotional, if you're emotional, you're irrational. All right? That's not true. Okay, how about number 2? Number 2 is expressing emotion, or your emotions, is a sign of weakness. That's not true either. Stop crying. You don't have to let people know how you feel. Don't tell them. Just put that mask back on. That's not true either. Number 3, certain emotions are bad. Certain emotions are bad. Well, I'm at a lot of emotions, but and some of them I don't like, and some of them I love, and some of them I want to have, but they're not. I wouldn't. No, I don't. They the same, because it's just sensations. It's just feelings. So how can they be good or bad? They're just emotions. What determines them, determine whether I want to entertain them, or I want, I maybe want to, express them, or respond to them or react to them. I decide that. I decide it. You may have a different feeling about, somebody, talking about your mom. It may not bother you, but it may kind of get me upset, right? So there's no such thing as a good or bad emotion. They're just emotions. They're just sensations. They're just energy. It's just feelings. You put the name to it. You decide whether it's good or bad for you. It may not be the same for me, or for her, or for him, or for them, but it's you. Okay, you decide that. Emotions can't be controlled. Well, they tell us all the time, control yourself. Stop crying. Control. Emotions. I kind of hesitate with the word control, because I don't feel like you should control emotions. I feel like you should manage them. Emotions can be managed. They can be managed. I don't know about controlling, because I think that they're God-given. They're part of who we are. So they're gonna be. So I would say that People don't think that you can manage your emotions, but you can. You can decide how you are going to react, respond, express them, or not. You're just going to watch them move on through. You're not going to stop them. You're not going to, try to avoid them or duck and dodge them. You're going to observe them, and you're going to decide. You're going to make the decision, conscious decision, aware decision as to what you're going to do with that feeling and that emotion, right? Number 5, all emotions that you have need to be expressed. Okay? You hear people say that. Talk about it. Just let people know. You have some people that just put it out there. Put it out there. Well, all emotions do not have to be expressed. Some of them are best not expressed because the way we would express them would be somewhat harmful to somebody or yourself. Okay, so yes, you can decide. You make the decision about it's your power. This is your personal energy. And we are here tonight in this session, this season, this series is to help you understand that you are the manager of your personal power. All of them. Your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual. You are the manager. You're the master. You are. They're given to you. They're your inheritance. You can, mimic your father, mimic source, how does source manage it? And try to do the same. I don't know. But we're going to help you with the series on this, okay? So of these 5 myths or misconceptions, I want to talk about 3 of them. 3 of them. And the 3 that I want to talk about is emotions make you illogical or irrational. No, it does not. No. And the second one is certain emotions are bad. No. Not. That's not true. All emotions are neutral. Bottom line. All emotions must be expressed. No, and no. Mm-mm. You do not have to express or explain emotions if you choose not to. And it's not gonna. And by not expressing them or not talking about it doesn't mean that you are ignoring them, or you're stuffing them, or you're avoiding them. No, that's not what it means. Okay, that's not what it means. It just means you're just not gonna express them, right? You're gonna watch them. That's I'm just gonna sit back and feel that emotion. I know I'm feeling it, and I'm just gonna let it, just roll on through. Because if I entertain it, I'm not gonna be a pretty gene or a pretty conscious creator or conscious or good neighbor. I'm probably gonna be tearing up some. No, right? That's not one that I want to express. But I'm gonna acknowledge it. I'm gonna acknowledge that I feel angry. I'm gonna acknowledge that I feel like what I feel. I'm not going to pretend it away. And if my neighbor comes up and that's who I happen to be upset with, I might say to you, I don't want to discuss it. I'd just rather not discuss it. Doesn't mean that I'm not having it or experiencing it or allowing it into my process, okay? To my experience. I'm experiencing it. All right? So we get to decide. We get to choose and decide. I think what I wanted to do, though, before I go any further, I just want to make sure that you understand that in order to manage emotions, it's important to understand what emotions are. Now, I've kind of quickly glazed over a little bit, but emotions, I want to make sure that you understand, and I want to drill this home. Emotions are energy moving through your body. Moving, and that's the thing is, through your body. You don't want energy to get stuck anywhere inside your body, all right? When you start feeling, and you think about how you feel those sensations of emotions, you can feel a lump in your throat. You can feel a lump in your throat. And if you recognize that lump in your throat, and you think about, use your mind to think about, why am I tie-tongue here? Why is this lump here? Am I nervous about something? Yeah, maybe you're nervous about something. I honor that feeling by acknowledging it and being aware of it. And just by being aware of it, I can relax a little bit. Now I see. And I can allow it to move on. Or I might want to do some breathing exercises to help it move along. You know, I don't want it to stay stuck there, because if I stay stuck there, I'm going to end up with a sore throat, have laryngitis. I won't be able to talk, you know. So I want it to move, right? I don't want to end up with a disease or some sickness or sore throat. I don't want that. I feel maybe I have a tightness in my belly. You know, oops, am I concerned about something? Do I have something in my mind that I'm concerned about? I want to understand that tightness, that contraction in my stomach, that knot, which is a contraction in my throat. Usually, feelings are either contractions. If you think about it, they're tightenings. Feel like something is tightening up, or something that's expanding. If you want to talk about whether it's a welcoming feeling or one that you just would rather hurry up and deal with, it's those contractions, those lumps in your throat, those tightenings of your belly because or that your ears burning because somebody has really hit the wrong button somewhere, and you're getting ready to steam. So you can tell the difference between a warm and welcoming feeling, which are those that expand, make you feel fuller and happy and you want to smile and go hug somebody, or the contractions where you may want to ball up in a knot and hide under the bed or knock somebody's socks off or whatever. It's a difference, all right? But both of them, both the expansion and the contractions, the tightenings, they're messages. They're just messengers to tell you about some feeling, some thought, some impression, some experience that you witnessed or that you experienced, that you went through or that you heard, something, one of those senses, something triggered something in you that caused this contraction, this tightening. Or somebody gave you, just brought you a dozen red roses and you're just all, where are you? My arms are stretched out. Come give me a hug. You're all open. You're happy. You're warm. You're ready. So they're messages, and you understand them, and you want some of them to rush on by, or you don't want to be bothered with them, and you want some to just last and last and last and last. All right? The sensations, they're emotions. That's emotions. When you stop it, like Neville said, and I will promise you, if Dr. Amber was here tonight with us, she would tell you this too. Do not stuff your feelings. Don't hold on to them. Don't try to avoid them. Don't try to duck and dodge them. Don't deny them, because they harden into sore throats and knots in stomach. They harden into ulcers in your belly. They give you tension, headaches, and stress, and that heat that runs up your face and the twinkles in your ears, and then you have ringing ears and things going on in your hearing. It causes problems. Observe it. Observe the feeling. Acknowledge it. Ask it. Talk to it. So what's this not about in my belly? What's going on? What are you trying to tell me? What's happening? And then look around your life, your day, your experiences, and find out what's caused it. All right? So that you can do something about it for next time. And if you can do something about it now. But don't deny it. Don't say, I'm just gonna deal with this. I'm just gonna grit my teeth and it's gonna go away. It's not gonna go away. It's just gonna get tighter and tighter. That you're gonna begin to ignore it. And then pretty soon you're gonna go to, start having to get those Rolaids and those things for your belly, and it's just gonna be problems, So anyway, understanding that emotions are energy that needs to move. Energy moves. If it doesn't move, it ought to be a chair. If it doesn't move, it ought to be your telephone. If it doesn't move, it ought to be your car. Well, your car moves, but you know what I mean. It has to be something. If it doesn't move, it's got to be something solid that you need to use. All right? Don't want it to be nothing solid in your body, because the only thing I want in my body is what the good Lord, what came with me when I came here. My organs and all that, those things that keep me going. Ulcers are not something that I want to add to this beautiful instrument called my physical body. Okay, and you don't either. We're gonna have Dr. Amber talk a little bit about how diseases really happen. what how emotions cause uh, diseases. This is, let's see, what am I going to say here? I want to make sure. For many people, looking to their body sensation to right. Okay. Understanding emotion. You may have heard the term emotional intelligence. The information that I'm sharing with you tonight, if you grasp it and begin to understand it and begin to use it, you will increase your emotional intelligence. And that's basically understanding what emotions are, what they do, what they're for, the purpose, and understanding how you should respond to them and manage them, and how you should manage them. And I again, I'm not going to use control, because I don't want you to think that you can control them that way. I want you to manage them by acknowledging. It's like an ebb. It's like the flow. Energy flows. It moves. It flows. Ebbs and flows. So you want it to flow. If it's an energy that is contracting and it's causing something that you need to possibly give some attention to correct, or to change a way of thinking, or acting, or reacting to something, responding to a situation, then you want to. That's the message that's given you. Here it comes again. What are we going to do about it this time? Ego might say, go punch his lights out and be done with it. But no, your heart is going to tell you, if you do that, it's not gonna change that contraction. It's not gonna change it at all. It's just gonna stay there. So what you want to do maybe is you want to look at it and see if there's another more productive, positive way to manage this emotion and the situation, so that you can be prepared when it comes again. Because chances are, if you've got a restriction going on, and if you don't deal with that, or respond to it or manage it in the right way, then it's going to come back again, because the message it's a message telling you that this is a trigger for you. This, every time this comes to you, you got it's going to cause this contraction. Do you want to keep having this contraction coming and going? It's a nuisance. It's a bother. I don't want to be bothered with that. Every time somebody press that button, let's get rid of that button. Let's get rid of it. So now it won't, that won't come back again. All right, but something else might. But that won't. So we manage it by acknowledging it and responding to it, or deciding, using our minds to decide whether we're going to respond to it or not. So let's talk about the three. Emotions make us illogical or irrational. And I'm pretty sure that most of us have heard that saying before. Emotions, you don't be emotional because you're just irrational. Well, first of all, emotions they can't rationalize anything. They just come. They're energy that just come, and it's like just a message. They come. They're not, and they're not deciding whether to come or not, or be tired of it. Somebody pushed the button, and hey, this is my reaction. This is my emotions. This is how I'm feeling about that. What you just did, all right? So there's no reasoning about it. The reasoning comes with the mind, all right? Now, a lot of people tell us that that mind is more important than feelings. Well, I tend to. I think I'm going to say that they're equally as important. I'm going to just leave it like that tonight, because when I start talking about mental, it might be different. But no, seriously, they are equal. They have equal importance. The mind is rational or not rational. The mind can process a thought that might be irrational or illogical. But feelings are just feelings. It's just energy. It's just a contraction or an expansion. They don't have, it's one or the other. And if it's something that has a positive effect on you, it's going to be an expansion. There's nothing logical about that. It's just the way it is. But your mind can decide. The mind is what decides whether it's going to be a contraction or it's going to be an expansion. Okay? So the mind can say, are you just being, maybe you just thinking really illogical about, you know, somebody just said something about your pink socks, you know? Maybe you should just change your thought about it, and then, you know, the button wouldn't be there for them to push, because now you've changed. Who cares what, I don't care what you think about my pink socks. You know, they're my pink socks. I like to wear pink socks, so they're my pink socks. So, you know, you wear your blue ones, whatever you color you want to wear, white, whatever, but I wear my blue ones. So bye, and be done with it. So next time they come along and they say it, it's, you know, like, you're not even going to have a reaction, because now you know you could give a flip about what they say about your socks. You know? So it's the mind that's illogical. It's the mind that makes the decision whether it's going to be illogical or not, you know. And again, some of our thoughts can be a little bit irrational. You just have to admit that we can be really silly sometimes about stuff. But, you know, but we can change that. It's all in our perspective. It's all in our perspective. So feelings or not. So don't let nobody tell you that you are being, you're so emotional, just being irrational. No, I'm having a contractible feeling here. And they may like, what's that mean? You know what it means. And okay, but you know, just don't pay them any attention when you hear that. There is no such thing as an illogical or illogical or rational or an irrational feeling. They're just feelings. They're just contractions or the expansions. Ha ha ha. Simple as that. So give yourself, allow yourself the freedom to experience it. Just, you know, and don't just, you know, just allow yourself to feel it. That's my thing is a feeling, feel it. Feel it. Observe it. Let your mind help you decide. And you know, sometimes you have to use your heart in that too. You know, put the heart to play in there sometimes, because ego will keep you in that illogical standpoint. Maybe you need to look at, why am I feeling so bad about this pink sock thing? You know, you have to ask yourself that. And then maybe you tweak your perspective. You deliberately, purposefully, with your heart and mind working together as one, you decide. You know, I talk to ego all the time. Me and ego, we're in school. But anyway, understand that experience. You have the freedom to understand and to experience and decide and reclassify a feeling if you want to. You know, because if you observe that a contraction as it goes, and then you decide that, you know, I'm just going to change my whole attitude about this situation. So when Bob comes back again with the same old stuff, he's going to find a different gene. So, you know, it's not going to, he can push the button all day long because it doesn't work anymore. It connects to nothing. Okay. So the second one, the next one was certain emotions are bad. Well, I think I probably killed that one, because we know that emotions are neither good or bad. You decide, you make that decision. And again, you use your mental, you use your mind, you use your perspective to determine whether this is something that you, and if it's something that's tightening up in your body, then you want to look at it and you want to do something about it. Because if you don't, then what you're doing is you're ignoring it. Even if you let it pass by, you don't have to go and, you know, beat up anybody about it, but you need to process it yourself, and you need to understand why am I so worried about such and such and such a situation, or at this time of the year, or you know, it's tax time and it's time to, you know, why is that such a how can I fix this for next year? So when next year the situation is going to come around again, I want to be ready for it. So because I know that the situation is going to come, the feelings are going to come, that contraction is going to come, I'm going to be worried, I'm going to be stressed. What can I do? So you decide, you process it, you decide how you're going to allow that feeling to flow in and through your experience the next opportunity or the next situation that presents itself, right? So feelings contract I don't really want it. I don't want to be bothered with tight knots in my stomach. I don't want that. I don't want this burning sensation in my face when I'm getting all angry with somebody. I don't want to react that way. I don't want that. I don't want that sensation. But I know that if I do not do something about that type of situation, it's going to come again, and I'm going to have that same sensation that I don't want. So I'm going to look at fixing my attitude, my perspective, whatever I need to do about it, so that next time it comes, they can push the button all day long, and I'm not going to get heated up, okay? You decide. That's managing. That's managing your emotions. And it's not burying them. It's not ignoring them. It is acknowledging them. It's acknowledging them as a message of something that needs my attention. All right? The last one was all emotions must be expressed. Well, I'm not sure that one. I really like this one because, it is a myth that you need to express your emotions, but you don't need to express them. You need to acknowledge them, observe them, receive the message, and do something about the message. It's not necessarily expressing it. You don't have to, sit down and, give somebody half of your mind or give a long dissertation or explanation of why you're feeling that way. You don't have to if you don't want to, if you'd rather not. Sometimes it's because you know what, this is my thing. This is the gene thing. And this is just a gene thing, and it's not, I'm just saying it. I'm just using it. It's not something that I would recommend for you, but I'm just saying, I'm just going to give you my example of trying to decide whether I need to express something or not. If it's a situation that I can resolve, I can process it, I can observe the feeling, I can understand why I feel that way, and I can also tweak my perspective about it, then I don't have to expend any energy in explaining it and expressing it to anyone. I can use all that energy for myself to manage it and manage my attitude about it, my perspective about it. All right. Whenever I'm one of the things I have about energy, my personal energy, is if I'm going to give my energy to someone else, like I'm doing tonight, I want it to benefit the other person. I don't want it to hurt them. Even if I'm angry with that person, I don't want to give them energy that's going to hurt them. So if I know that if I sit down and explain this to them or try to give them a piece of my mind, it's not going to help, then I don't want to I'm wasting my energy. So I want to be able to express energy in a way that's productive, not only to me, but to the other person as well. Even when it's setting boundaries for yourself, and you're trying to enforce those boundaries, if you have to go back and reiterate or remind a person of that, that's okay. But do it in a constructive way. You don't have to say, "Darn it, whatever, stars all over the place. I told you that 25,000 times, and you don't have to do that." In my opinion, if you got to tell the person more than twice, unless it's your husband, wife, kids, or whatever, check them at the door. Then you don't have to answer the phone. You got caller ID. You don't have to. Just put them on pause. Put them on pause. So you don't have to waste energy. I guess that's my thing. Is I don't like to waste energy. But I like to use energy that's going to be constructive. But that's just a gene thing. It's just a gene thing. You can decide how you want to express and why you're expressing it. When you're expressing it. But you do not have to always express. You don't have to express energy always. That's the truth about that is, although you may feel like the only way to deal with an emotion is to be angry and to express that anger again and frustration is to get it out. That's not how you get it out. You can get it out by observing it, processing internally to yourself, because you're the one that's feeling the feeling. They're they don't even know. They don't probably don't even not even aware that they pushed the button. Half the time they don't even. They're so not connected with the situation. They don't even know that they pushed the button. So you know you're the only one that's really feeling it. So you don't have to express or anger or frustration. You don't have to. You can. It doesn't make you stronger by doing it. Really, it doesn't. Sometimes you rattle on and they look at you like you spoke a different language, and then they turn around and do the same thing again. So again, decide how you want to express. Try as what I think I like. Try an alternative to venting, or to just being frustrated. Meditate, breathe. Count to 10. Just let the energy just float on, just go on its merry way, and shut off ego, because ego is ego. You got one, so you know how ego is. Do something about it, do something about it, it's ego. But you don't have to. You don't have to because ego said it, and you don't have to because somebody else said you need to go take care of that person. You get to decide. This is your energy. This is your power. This is your powerhouse. It's not your brothers or your sisters or your best friends or your husband or what. It's yours. And you get to decide how you are going to manage it. All of it. The health, the physical, the emotional, the mental, you get to decide. All right? So I'm going to leave you with these. And those are only 3 that I was going to talk about. I want to leave you with these 3 statements. And one is something that we've done. Or we do. I hid my deepest feelings so well that I forgot where I placed them. If you do that enough and often, you won't have to try to find where they are. They're going to show up in some disease or some condition that you're not going to be very happy about. So don't bury your feelings. Don't hide them. Don't ignore them. Process them. Manage them. Feelings is emotion. And emotion is energy. And energy is magnetic. Everything has certain frequencies, and energy, just try to match it to whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your life, into your experience. Try to find out what that frequency is and match your emotions and your feelings to that. And I promise you, you'll have it in almost no time. All right? Your feelings are your greatest tool. And this is something that Neville would probably say in his book, Feelings is the Secret. Your feelings are your greatest tools to help you create your life. If you are not using feelings, you are not creating what you want to create. You're using feelings that you are now maybe aware that you've hidden somewhere, and that's doing other things that you're not aware that's doing, and you're getting what you don't want to get. Be a purposeful and intentional creator, manifester. Manage your tools, your power, your creativity, your energy. Everything is energy. Einstein says everything is energy. And that's all there is to it. That's all I have for you tonight. I will hope that you join me next week. I don't know if we're going to talk a little bit more about energy. I'm thinking about talking about triggers, because that's energy too. So I'm thinking about talking about triggers maybe next week as an energy that we can manage or do something about. All right. So join me next week if you would. But I hope you can take away something tonight to understand that you are the master of your reality, and your reality is created and manifested by energy, and that's your creativity. That's your creative power. That's your power. All right. Thanks a lot. I love you guys. God loves you. I love you. And I hope that you guys will join me again next week. Until then, manifest best, live well, and manifest best. Good night.